Press the button first. Duh. Hi everyone. Welcome to or welcome back to Exposed, and if I'm welcoming you back and you like it here, I'd love it if you stayed and subbed. If you see anything twinkling on my face, I was looking at something earlier and it had glitter, and now I'm covered in the stuff. I need to get a roll of sellotape and sellotape my face because I remove a bit and then there's another bit, and I've given up now. Thing is, I love glitter, so I don't really care. I thought I'd get this one done. It's Lisa's idea of how you keep a happy marriage. I think this was actually during the hurricane, if I remember rightly, but it wasn't long after the nose rant, I know that much. So, shall we jump in?
Hey everyone, it's Lisa, and today is Monday, and I was getting ready, and last night I was thinking of a little tip that I wanted to give you. And when I do these videos, it might just be something silly like this, but this is something that I think it's important to me, and when I was growing up, my mom always made it important in our house. And what it is when your husband or your wife or, your significant other comes home, I think it is so important to try. Now, you don't have to do it every time. I know you're going to be busy with different things, but what I do is I try to go to the door. I try to greet him at the door.
Has it even crossed your tiny, weeny little mind that they might be at work too? As always, this is coming from your point of view as a stay-at-home mum. Not all women or men have the luxury to be able to stay at home with their children. Lots of families, the mum and the dad go out to work. Imagine that! So no one's greeting anyone. And it's usually first home cooks, so they'll probably be busy with doing that. But, it's really, really important to straighten your apron, gussy up your hair and put your red lipstick on before Daddy comes home.
And a lot of times, I can just tell by, like, Bridget will see him ride by and go into the mailbox or something, or even if I'm in the kitchen and I hear the key go into the door, I will try to run over there and open the door. And I always try to greet him, hey darling, how was your day? And you just want to make it pleasant to come home. Now, when I was little, it was kind of a big deal. When my dad was coming home, usually I was in the kitchen helping my mom cook. I had different little things that I did, like make the tea. My mom would make a cream cheese and nut salad that I would usually make for my dad. I would be doing different things, setting the table, just different things like that. And I remember her saying, go to the front and go turn the lights on for your daddy. So we always made sure that we had all of our lights on. We always made sure that when he came in the door, this is going to sound very old-fashioned, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. We always made sure when he came in the door that there wasn't a bunch of junk on the stairs, because mine and my brother's rooms were upstairs, and a lot of times we would put like our clean clothes or whatever on the stairs, and we would take them up, the next time we went upstairs. And so we would make sure that everything looked good when he came.
Is that where the putting it up thing came from then? Because you had to take it upstairs as a kid, so you put it up, not away. Actually, no, I think someone told me it's a southern thing that you put things up. When she first used to say it, I was thinking, up where? What are you...
And usually dinner was ready. My mom would go, usually I can remember her taking her hair down, her two barrettes, brushing her hair, and a lot of times she would put on lipstick when my dad was coming home. And we would always wait for him to eat dinner, even if he was going to be a little bit later, because my dad always worked for himself, and so he didn't have like set hours. And so I can remember, knowing what time he was coming home, even if he had a lot of times he was in fishing tournaments or something, and we would, be like, what time is Daddy coming home? And, we'd get prepared for him to come home. And anyway, we would always wait for him to have dinner. No matter.
We'd get prepared for him to come home. And she was going to say something, and then she stopped herself. I wonder what that was. This reminds me of my mother-in-law. When Jed and I were first married, and the first home we had was a rented house, and she came up on holiday because, like I said, we lived right next to the sea. And Travis was tiny. I was still napping when he was napping, and she woke me up and him, and it was a whole to-do. But anyway, she never liked me at all because I didn't come from where they came from. I came from that London. So Jed was at work, she was on holiday, and then he came in one night and she went, "She hasn't got your tea on the table. I told her to get your tea ready and she said no." And he said, "Because that's not how we do things here. I come home, we sit down, we have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, we chat about what happened at work, what happened at home, how the baby was, what I'd had for dinner in the canteen at work, so that she didn't cook the same thing. So I could have had spag bol at work and came home again to spag bol. So we never did that. And anyway, he liked to come in, relax, get out of his work clothes, blah, 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 blah. There was never a walk in the door, your dinner's on the table. And obviously that was a thing to do back in the day. But it's like when she's saying, "Oh, it's really important to greet them at the door and be happy and da-da-da-da-da." Yeah, if you're doing fuck all day and your only thing is to greet him at the door and say, "How was your day, darling?" and then you all go out to eat, she's not in the real world with the rest of us, is she?
Matter what. I mean, very few instances did we not eat with all together, and if my mom had to, she would even give us a little snack. Like if we were really hungry, a little snack to wait to dinner. But to my parents, it was very important for us to all sit at the table and eat dinner together. And so I just was thinking,
shame you didn't carry that on in your house, isn't it, really?
Yesterday I came home, and John is not the best at this. We have had a few of our little, hi Chanel, we've had a few of our little back and forths over this, because even when I come home, I like the lights to be on. Who wants to come home to a dark house, or a dark garage and everything? And I don't like a lot of times he'll shut the garage door because we need to cool it off for the cats, and we have air conditioning in our garage, and we cool it off for the cats to sleep
conditioning
there at night. So a lot of times he'll have to leave the glass door open, and I can't stand it if I come home and the light is off and the door is locked. So we've gone around and around, and he's gotten much, much better at that. But
I've told him I have to have the lights on. There has to be an entrance. He has to greet me when I come back. This is what we did for my daddy. Grow the fuck up and think of the electric bill.
I was thinking of just different things, different examples, like even as simple as your dog or cat. Bubba, if he's outside and he sees John come home, he runs to both of us, but most of the time John's coming home and Bubba's outside for the afternoon. He will come off the porch and run down the driveway and run down to John getting the mail. And it's a routine. John will open his truck door, Bubba will jump in and ride up the driveway with him. And, even that makes John feel so good, that Bubba's excited to see him. And, even when you come in your house and Bridget's always right there at the door. I mean, as soon as we open the door, she comes out of the door and is so happy to see us. And sometimes she'll do a crazy run around the house, where her tail's all crooked, and just run around the house because she's just so excited to see us. Now, I'm not saying you should run around the house so excited to see him, but a lot of times, like I've heard women say, and I know how it is to be home with the kids all day, but trust me, right after I had Brooke, I can remember John coming home from work and then leaving, coming straight home and then leaving again to go to the gym. And I can remember that just burnt me up, you know? So I know that feeling, but I also know everyone wants a nice place to come home to. No one wants to dread coming home to, someone, to either not even being welcomed at the door, or, a dark house, or worse is I've heard people say, yeah, as soon as he walks in the door, I hand him so-and-so and I tell him, here, your turn, with the baby or something. And you just have to remember that, they've been working too, and it's a team effort, and no one wants to come home to just turmoil, no one wants to come home to someone that's in a bad mood, someone that looks terrible. And I don't mean that you
looks terrible. Right, so we're supposed to be all gussied up all the time, are we, in high heel shoes and lipstick, even though we've been running around after 3 toddlers and cleaning a house and doing everything else and getting Daddy his dinner ready and putting the lights on. And
you have to be, you don't have to put your lipstick on if you don't want to, but I just think everyone likes to come home to, a pleasant surrounding, a pleasant atmosphere. And imagine, like, if you were to go to, remember when you went to your grandparents and they always kind of met you at the door and they were so...
Lisa, remember when you used to go to your grandparents and they met you at the door? That was your life. It's not everybody else's. It doesn't happen to everybody else. I didn't have grandparents to go to.
So happy to see you. Or like when you go over to someone's house for dinner, imagine if you pulled up to their house and no lights were on. You had to find your way up to the front, and you had to ring the doorbell a couple times for them to come to the door. It's just, you always want to feel welcome, and I think that's important for our husbands.
What is your fucking big deal with having the lights on? You have a car with headlights. You drive up the driveway, you're lighting your way. You don't need to waste fucking electric having every light in the house on just because you're coming home.
Husbands, and I really want, one of the main things that I'd like to get across in all of my videos is I think we spend so much time in how we look, how we act, and how we treat people that sometimes don't even really matter. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be kind to people, but you shouldn't treat other people at work or other people on social media or other people that are your friends better than you treat the people that you love the most and that mean the most to you. And there's just something to making someone feel special. And I wrote down dog company grandma. And I was thinking, how would you feel if you walked in and your dog just never even looked at you? Kind of like cats do. Even our cats, they'll get down. I hear Chanel jumping off of something she probably shouldn't be on. And so that's just a quick little tip. And I think it helps so much, for your husband and, for your wife, for anyone. If they come home, greet them with a smile and make them feel welcome. And, maybe ask.
People don't need to be told this, Lisa. It's automatic. When someone walks in the door, hi, how are you? How's your day been? What did you get up to? Do you really think people need to be taught that?
Ask them about their day and, just give them a chance to kind of wind down. Now, I know there are people that like to come in and they don't really want anybody asking them any questions, and they don't want anybody in their face, and they don't feel like, they might need some time to just chill out. I can remember my dad would come in and he would usually go to his room, and a lot of times he would take a shower. If not, he would come sit in his recliner, and a lot of times, I would take off his shoes or something, and we had a little spot for him. And, then he would maybe take a few minutes. My mom, he always had like one drink. He had like either a screwdriver.
I sat at the foot of my daddy and I took off his shoes and rubbed his feet for him while he had his strawberry margarita. Weird. Fucking weird.
Or a Greyhound. And he would usually just have that one drink before we ate, and then we had sweet tea for our dinner. And, back then it was just so much more family friendly because we didn't have computers in our rooms. We didn't have a telephone in our room. We didn't have cell phones. So it's kind of like, what else was there to do but to be right there in the family room? And we just all talked so much. I can remember even like in elementary school, them asking me, they still make fun of me for this. They'd say, Lisa, what'd you eat for lunch? And I'd say, well, I drank all my milk, because they were always, wanting me to eat more, I guess, or just, interested in what you ate. And, just kind of talking at the table about different things. And then after dinner, I usually clean the kitchen. And then after dinner, probably about 30.
What was that face for? Oh, so hard done by. You had to clean the kitchen. You want to try hand washing and ironing your own clothes at 7, love?
30 or 45 minutes later, we would have dessert. My mom a lot of times would have made a dessert, or we'd have ice cream or like a Pepsi float or something. And we had different little TV shows that we would watch each night. I can remember watching like just those little silly sitcoms like Alice and just different ones like Miami Vice, different things like that. That was the 70s and the 80s. And then we had a bedtime. And we had a bedtime all the way up, gosh, as far as I can remember. Now, when we got older, when you went upstairs, you didn't have to, there wasn't a bedtime. You went to bed when you wanted to, but we had to like go upstairs. When I was young, I remember it was 9 o'clock, and then it ended up being 9:30. And, a lot of times we were just tired, and, so we went to bed. I don't remember staying up really late. I can remember doing some homework and stuff sometimes, or writing letters or something like that, But, so I know a lot of the things that I...
Stop trying to live in the fucking past, Lisa. You've got all these lovely memories of when you were a child, but how many of your kids got? When did you cook a meal for everybody and you all sat around the table? No, it was always sat around a table somewhere else at a fucking restaurant. We always did that. When Jed was on days, he'd come in and we'd all have dinner together. Just reminds me of one day. Because that's the thing. It's still a thing. You ask them what they ate at school. But, so I said to Travis one day, what did you have? Who did you have lunch with today? And he said the girl's name. I can't remember. I've told this story before, I'm sure of it. And I said, oh, right, what did she have? And he said, duck cheese sandwiches. And I was like, oh, right. And I looked up, I could see Jed at the other end of the table, and the cogs were whirring, and his face was going, and I went, it's cut in the shape of a duck. And he was like, cool. I was sat here thinking, how the fuck do you milk a duck? And then when I told the girl's mum, she said it's a good job he didn't ask the next day, because she had dog cheese sandwiches. But it's like, that's what everybody did when there was nothing else to do. You did that. But people run their lives differently now, Lisa. There's none of this fucking wiping your hands on your apron and putting your best red lipstick on and meeting your husband at the door.
I say maybe don't apply now because of today's modern technology, and they don't even apply to my family. John eats so healthy a lot of times. just last week, I was watching Laura Vitale. I was watching some of her videos, and I told John, I said, on the weekends, why don't we let the kids pick one of Laura's recipes? Like, because she has good stuff like chicken tenders, oven fries, all this kind of stuff, lasagna. I said, we'll let them pick a recipe and then I'll cook on Saturday night. And he said, I really like going out to eat. So, a lot of times we're eating a bunch of different things. A lot of times for dinner, John will eat just something crazy like just broccoli or something like that. So a lot of times I'm thinking,
how is that crazy if he just wants to eat vegetables? If he hears you talking about him being crazy, is it any wonder that he doesn't want to do the things you want to do? And how difficult is lasagna to cook? And oven chips, what was it she said? I don't know what she's talking about.
Fixing different things, but we do try to at least all eat together. So, I know it's not as traditional as it used to be, but I do try to make him feel at home, make him feel welcome. He
should fucking feel at home. It's his home.
Try to greet him when he comes in, and you want to make it a place where they want to come home to. I was watching, I think it was the reunion. It was either the reunion or one of the episodes to Southern Charm. And I remember, what was his name? Craig, saying that he was talking about his girlfriend. And when things changed, he said, used to, when I turned the corner and I saw her car there, he said, I got all excited. He said, but at the end, he wasn't excited. You want your significant other to be excited to come home and feel welcome and loved. And I think that will set the stage for a wonderful night and just a really good, relationship. You want to make each other feel special. And then I'll go into some other things about, listening and how you speak to each other. But I just wanted to talk about that one little tip. So today I don't really have on anything special. I have on a little, Chanel sitting here with me. I have on just a little dress that I bought a couple of months ago from Zara, actually, and I actually just took the tags off, and I'm going to put on my leopard Tory Burch flats. I think they'll look good with this, and I'm going to just go run some errands, and it's cloudy here today, so I have on I have on my regular light, and I bought 2 new lights, and this is kind of a test video too. I hope I can post it. I hope it's not that bad, but I'm trying to get the lighting good up here, and then I want to totally remodel or redo this room for videos, so I'm doing a little baby step at a time.
Aren't you always changing and redoing and fiddling about and getting us to bear with you while you change something?
But so let me know down below what you think about this. Do you think it's crazy? I know that I'm old-fashioned, but I think that there's a lot of things that are old-fashioned that truly go with nature and how anyone likes to be treated. Everyone wants to feel special. Everyone does. And you know how good it makes you feel when you come in and your dog is so happy. Why not do that for your person that you love the most? So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you real soon.
La La Land. Does she really think people need to be told to greet their significant other when they come home after work? What does she think we were all doing before she told us that? Anyway, if you got to the end with me, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.